In this video tutorial, we will build those two charts that you see. We have placed them in two separate canvases, which change their size as the user resizes the browser window. The charts are built with MindFusion charting library for JavaScript and get automatically resized when their canvases change size. We start by creating an empty web page. First of all, we add the CSS code that is needed for the page layout. We add a style that takes all of the available page width and uses table display. Then we add the next style with a display of table row, and then the style for the two separate sections of the page, each one with 50% width. Finally, we add some styling to the two div instances that will host the two chart canvases. Now, let's initialize the two canvases that use these styles. We create the top div, and inside it, the div that represents the table row. Then we have the smaller divs, each one holding a canvas instance. It is important to provide an ID to the canvas instances, because we will reference them in code. The last thing to add to the web page are references to 3 JavaScript files. We add a reference to the MindFusion charting and common libraries. The charting library provides chart logic, while common contains useful complementary classes. We have copied both of them into the directory with the web page. You can take them from the trial version of the chart, which is available for download from the website. Now let's add a new empty JavaScript file, which we have already referenced. It is called chart grid, and will hold the JavaScript code for our application. First, we add a reference to the Intellisense file that we've copied in the same directory. Then we add mappings to several namespaces that we will use in code. We get the DOM element that corresponds to the canvas for the bar chart. That is why we need to have an ID. Then we get the width and height of the element's parent and create a new bar chart control using the element and specifying the layout of the bar chart. Then we change the bar spacing ratio of the chart to 0.8. This means that the space between bars will be 80% from the bar width. We hide the legend and add a title. Now let's add a list with labels and create a collection with series that will be used by the bar chart. We will add to the series collection a single bar series property. If we look at the bar series constructor in the online help, we will see it gets as parameters a list with the data, and then lists with the labels that we want to render. We want to show inner labels, so we provide the list with the labels as a second parameter to the constructor. We assign the series collection to the series property of the bar chart and call the render method. Let's look at the chart now. The data and labels are present, but we need to make some adjustments. Let's hide the x-axis labels, add a grid, and change the y-scale. We hide the x-coordinates by setting Show x-coordinates to false. We add a title to the x-axis and set the tick length to 0. We also add a title to the y-axis and change the interval to 1.5. Let's refresh the page. The axes look okay. We use the theme property to provide some styling to the chart. The theme class exposes a lot of appearance properties for customizing the look of all chart types. We use Data Labels brush and Data Labels font size to change the font for labels inside and at the top of bars. We use axis title font name and font size to change how the axis labels look. We set the font for all labels to Verdana. Finally, we specify that the grid line will be dashed. The bar chart looks good now. We only need to add coloring to the bars, but that we will leave for later. Now, let's create the pie chart. We create it the same way we created the bar chart. We get the element of the canvas with ID pie chart and set its width and height to those of its offset parent. Then we initialize a new instance of the pie chart control. Pie charts need only one series. So, we take the first and only series from the series collection we created for the bar chart and assign it to the series property of the pie chart. Note that this works regardless of the fact that the series is bar series. Now, we call the draw method and let's see the chart. Here it is. Sure, we need to customize its look as well. We change the start angle to be 45 degrees and hide the legend. We add a title and set the chart padding to 30 to give the chart more space at the edge. The chart looks better now. What we need to add now is greater font size and a different highlight stroke. This is the brush that outlines elements when the user hovers them with the mouse. The chart looks complete now. We just need to add colors to both charts. For coloring, we will use the per-element SeriesStyle class. This is one of the many classes that provide styling for chart series. Per-element SeriesStyle class colors every single element of a chart series with the subsequent brush and stroke from its brushes and strokes lists that are provided upon initialization. So, we create a list with 12 brushes and 1 stroke. We need to add those brushes to lists that are then added to the containing lists and provided as arguments to the per-element SeriesStyle constructor. We assign the newly created style to the SeriesStyle property of the chart pot. Let's look now at the bar chart. It looks fine. The good thing is that we can now assign the same SeriesStyle to the same property of the pie chart and color it as well. We do it and refresh the page. Now, both our charts look fine. With that, our sample is ready, and this is the end of our tutorial. You can download the source code from the link in the video description. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest in MindFusion developer tools.